Fairy Story C. Cantaloupe. Cantaloupe was fat and round just like a cantaloupe. She was sweet as could be to all she saw, but she was made fun of for being fat. She went to a fairy school and would come home crying and putting herself down. She loved to cook and went to school hoping to cook for the fairy queen of her town. She lived in a town called the Roost. That was near a farm. She wasn't the best looking fairy. Matter of fact, she was the worst looking. She had pimples, buck teeth, and she had a hair lip. She also had short knotted up hair and big eyes that was like a hoot owl's eyes. All the boys laughed at her and called her names, and the girls looked at her like she had something that was catching, and her teachers belittled her all the time. She was smart, but no one knew it because no one cared to know it. One looked at her and they believed her to be crazy. All her sisters looked like princesses next to her, and no one could understand how she got her bad looks. Her whole family was good looking, not a bad one for a million years. So how did Cantaloupe get like this? Well, this is her story, and she hopes you heed it all and take it to heart. She told me this herself after she heard it from a far-off queen and a spider. It all started when her great-great-grandma fell in love with a wizard named Little. Wizard Little loved Wendeley a lot, and they were going to run off to be married, but Wendeley's mom was against her little girl marrying anyone, and she locked Wendeley up under a root of an old oak. The wizard tried to get her out, but her mom's power was too strong, so he went to her mom and put a spell upon the family. Somewhere down your line, one like you never seen will uproot your family tree. You wait and see. 5 years went by and was good, so Wenderley married. Then she had a baby girl named March, who had a girl named Hallow, who had a girl named Victory. Because they believed they had won, the spell was fake. But then Cantaloupe was born. She was the oldest of Victory's kids, and she uprooted the family tree big time, just like the wizard said. And in the dead of night she was carried out, yes, the very night she was born. She was put in a spider web, for they hoped no one would know of her. The spider saw it all, but was it a spider? Oh no, it was a wizard H5, and he knew of the spell of this family, for his great-great-grandpa was none other than Wizard Little. He put his own spell upon her, trying to undo what Little had done. Then, as a spider, he carried her to a nearby fairy town called the Roost, and left her at a door of a fairy couple with 14 kids. She was raised up, but not loved by this family. I mean, like I said, she wasn't good looking. Now, after she got her schooling done, she became the cook for her queen. The queen wouldn't eat anything she cooked, and she was mistreated by all the workers. She would be sleeping, and they would pick her up and put her in the trash, hoping she would get picked up and burnt with the trash. She was 18 and still all full looking. But each morning a spider would wake her up so she wasn't hurt or burnt. She would thank him and bring him food she had cooked. She was a great cook and a great friend. One day the spider overheard the queen talking to the king about a queen she didn't like and how she would like to send her a gift. A bad gift. Well, the spider went and sat at the feet of her. Send the cook, you know the one. What a joke and gift that would be. Then he went and told Cantaloupe the news, how he had tricked the queen. The next day Cantaloupe was sent to the Queen of Hope and Love. This queen was happy with the food Cantaloupe cooked, but had not seen her. The workers wore nice The workers were nice to her and liked her very much also, so it was a nice place to work. But the queen got ill and her son was to be king. But the queen said, "No, my son, not you. But I guess there is no hope of it, so it'll be you." The spider had heard her and went to her bed and sat beside her. "My queen, send for all your children." "But I can't, Mr. Spider." Again he said, "Send for them and have the cook bring her best tea and cakes." So the queen sent for her children, and in 5 days they were around her bed, and so was her nurse. That was there when all the children were born. Her children were all nice looking, but was not kind to anyone under them. They were rude to anyone poor. "My queen, have you forgotten the tea and cakes?" "Oh yes, Mr. Spider. Please call my cook up here." The spider ran down to the kitchen to get Cantaloupe. "Cantaloupe, come with me." "But Spider, I have never gone up to the queen. So why today?" "Today she wishes for tea and cakes to be sent to her room, and you, my dear, are to take them up to her and her children." "But she is ill, and one look at my face might do her in, and her children are not kind to people. What will they say?" "Cantaloupe, she asks for you now, but no buts. Now come." So they went upstairs. Then he stopped her at the door, and he went in. "My queen, your cook is here, with tea and cakes. Please, Spider, send her in." "Cantaloupe, you may come in now." "Cantaloupe, what a name," laughed the oldest son, Harry. "Look at her. She's fat and round like a cantaloupe," said Bella. "Look at her eyes," laughed Pearl. "Her mouth," yelled Agate. Cantaloupe started crying and said, "Spider, I must go now." "No, Cantaloupe, you will not go. Queen, tell this rotten bunch of yours to stop, or they will get it from me." "Mother, did you hear him?" "Have him killed," yelled the children. "No, you all stop being rude now, please," said the queen. "Now, Cook Cantaloupe, please set the tea and cakes here on my bed." Cantaloupe didn't move an inch. "Cantaloupe, you heard your queen." Cantaloupe slowly walked to the bedside and put the tea and cakes down, keeping her face turned away from the queen. "Thank you, Cantaloupe. You're welcome, my queen." "Cantaloupe, look at the queen when talking to her. Please forgive her, my queen. She was raised without love. She has only known heartache and people laughing at her. She was a joke sent to you by Queen of the Roost." "Cantaloupe, I believe the joke is on the Queen of the Roost, for you are a great cook, and my children will not laugh at you any more. And if you wish to go, then you may." "No, Cantaloupe, you will stay. Spider, I am the queen, and I say she may go." "No, my queen, not yet." "Cantaloupe, look at the queen and thank her for her kindness, if you would." "But Spider, she's ill. I'll only make it worse." "Oh, then please, look at her, so I can be king now," yelled her oldest. "You are not fit to be king," said Spider. "Mother!" "Oh, shut up, son." "Cantaloupe, the queen's nurse is here beside her if she needs her. Now face the queen, please." Slowly, Cantaloupe turned to the queen. At the same time, the queen and nurse let out a gasp, and Cantaloupe turned away, crying, and said, "See, Spider, my face scared her, and now she is sicker." Then she ran to the door, but was stopped by a young man of 23. "Cantaloupe, stay." Cantaloupe knew the voice, but not the man. She looked at him and put two and two together. "Spider?" "Yes, you know me as Spider." Queen, nurse, this is Cantaloupe, a very lovely, loving lady, and one that I fell in love with 18 years ago when she was put in my web one night. The nurse fainted. Spider woke her up and went on talking. She was born to an unloving lady, and one look at her baby was all she did. The baby was sent out of the castle and put in a web, but unknown to the ones who put her in my web, I wasn't a spider, but a wizard boy of 5 named Cass, and the great-great-grandson of Wizard Little. So I put a spell on her to help her and never left her side. I fell in love with her and was her friend from day one. Queen, do you recall the spell? The part about uprooting your family? Well, uprooted it. It is, my queen. Mother? Shut up, son. Cantaloupe, can you please come here, said the queen. My Cantaloupe, I believe you to be dead when I saw you, and that the uprooting was you being dead. The nurse told me you were dead and that she would take you away. My queen, please forgive me, but look at her. She can never be queen. Better, she was eaten by a spider. No, nurse, that was not of you. You tried to kill her. No, 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 I didn't try to kill her. You put her in a spider web, yelled the queen. Oh, please, please forgive me, please. She's our sister, yelled Pearl. Yes, Pearl. I never forgot her face. How could you forget it, yelled Harry. Spider? Call me Cass, my queen. Cass, thank you for bringing my little girl home to me. She will be the queen when the time comes. Mother! Shut up, all of you, yelled the queen. Dear Cantaloupe, I never stopped thinking of you and loved you from the moment I saw you. Please come here so I can kiss my baby for the first time. Cantaloupe went to her mother, and the queen kissed her on the cheek. Now my spell you will see, said Cass. Slowly, Cantaloupe was changing. Her hair was long and wavy and golden, her eyes green with long eyelashes. Her lips were ruby red, and she had no hair lip. Her teeth were white and straight, and she was getting taller and thinner. Her mother's love had ended the spell of Little, and a nice little spell done by a little 5-year-old wizard, said Cass. Spider. Yes, Cantaloupe. But Cantaloupe was crying with tears of joy and couldn't say anything more. Cass, did you mean what you said about Cantaloupe? Asked the queen. Do you mean the part about loving her? Yes, that part. Did you mean it? Are you going to lock her up, Queen? No, Cass. I'm planning a wedding. Yours. So Cantaloupe married Cass and knew her mother for 2 years before her mother passed away. But Cantaloupe was made queen the day after the family meeting with tea and cakes. And that is the story of Fairy Cantaloupe. Written by Rebecca Hillhouse, June 22nd and 23rd, 2018. And we'll see you next time with Fairy Story D.